Let me fix my robe, cuz. Let me get up in my seat. Man, there's just shit everywhere. Alright, here we go. It's the last show of the year, man. I think this is the 23rd episode of the Memecle Jackson Show. Waiting for this shit to load up. Once it load up, we can get started. What's the deal, man? Come on. Shit says buffering. But anyway, thank you for tuning in, man. We're, of course, last show of the year. We're starting off with some random ass technical difficulties. You can't get the freaking thing to connect. Connect, motherfucker. If this shit will ever get connected, then we'll get started. But anyway, thank you for tuning in, man. Hey, it's December 31st, man. It's New Year's Eve. I'm in here watching the Texas Bowl game, Texas versus Utah. Utah's number 11 in the nation. We're smacking them 24-3 right now, so that's just kind of lit. I'm excited for that. Fuck, man, this is getting on my nerves, man. Just fucking load up, shit. I don't understand why it's not connecting. But anyway, yeah, Texas is getting the best of somebody, finally. It doesn't seem like very often we get some good victories. So this is a good way to start. Finally, the fucking thing connected, so we can start the damn show. God damn, getting frustrated. But yeah, December 31st, man, it's the last show of the year. We're rolling into 2020. Hopefully 2020 is a good year for everybody. I'm sure it'll be a decent year for me. I got a lot of big changes coming in my professional and my personal life. So I'm excited to announce those changes. As we move forward into 2020, I feel like there'll be something different happening every single month almost. So very excited for that, man. It's been a good closeout to the year. I feel like my show is pretty successful. I mean, better than I thought it was gonna be, that's for sure. This robe looks good as hell on me. My haircut's fresh. I mean, shit, you know, just normal, you know, victories that I feel like I'm just getting on a weekly basis. It continues to be great. This is all just great right now, you know, so I'm feeling kind of good. Man, I don't know, a lot to be thankful for. And mainly just the life lessons that we've learned. So, happy to be here, man. Thank you for tuning in. This is the last show of the year. I'm excited. We get to close out 2019 on a really high note. So, don't worry. We will have a show on Thursday. So, we'll start the year off strong. Excuse me. It's not like we taking a break. I know a lot of podcasts and radio shows got people taking breaks and stuff like that. And hey, man, they all work hard. They probably deserve that shit. But me, I don't work hard enough to take a break from the show yet. So we're going to have a show every Tuesday and Thursday until further notice. If I take a day off, it's because something serious happened, because I don't really be going. I need a vacation, but I don't go on vacations like that. So we are lit, man. Right now, we got some old Ali playing, that Breathe In, Breathe Out. I know y'all remember that. Yeah. Breathe in, breathe out. Let me get hyped up, man. This shit almost over then. And then we got some Sean Kingston that's going to play. We got some Lloyd Banks, some Trey Songz, some Cameron, some Donnie Klang, some Wale, some Drake, maybe some Chris Brown. We got a lot of good songs that'll play tonight, man. We're going to have a lot of music playing tonight, mainly just because of the fact that it's like we're celebrating the close out of the year and the close of a good show. So you just imagine me dancing to the music all night. But as this song closes out, then I'm gonna intro the show, and then we're gonna get going, man. We got lots to talk about, man. This has been kind of a big day, especially if you are a big fan of the NFL, because we have a lot of coach firings. We have some interesting things that have happened. The one firing that everybody's kind of just been waiting for has still yet to happen. Dallas still has not fired Jason Garrett, which I'm very confused about that, fam. It's not a hard thing to comprehend. The playoffs are about to start. You're not in the playoffs. Your coach is garbage. You should fire your coach. There should be no delays. Your season was over on Sunday. It's time to get down to business and really get going on 2020. Time to find a new coach. But Jerry Jones is trying to spare Jason this ass whooping that he knows he has to give him after this point. I mean, bro, it's been 10 years, whatever it's been, and he's just been horrible. So it's like you have to fire him. He can't continue to keep his job. And I feel like the entire world knows that. So Jerry need to stop playing. He need to just go ahead and fire Buddy and just get the shit over with. Tired of waiting. All right, man. Time to intro the show. Yo, what's good? It's your boy, Meaningful Jackson. You were tuned in live to the Meaningful Jackson Show. Yo, before I let that Sean Kingston play, man, I figured I'd intro the show, let y'all know that, hey, man, I fuck with y'all. We're happy to be here. It is December 31st. This is the New Year's Eve show. I think this is like our 23rd show. We're doing pretty good. Have not been canceled yet. It's probably coming soon, so get ready. Try to listen to this as much as you can before I get kicked off the air, because sometimes it gets a little bit too real in here. But like I said, we're happy to be here this evening. It is December 31st. New Year's Eve. I hope everybody is planning to make good decisions tonight. Do not allow your life to change for the negative. All because you want to go out and get, drunk as hell with your friends, all that jazz. Do what you got to do, but just be sure to make good decisions. Uber, Lyft, taxis, designated drivers, actual designated drivers, not niggas that's pretending but really sipping water, a vodka, in the water bottle. Can't have that. If that nigga drive you home, y'all might end up getting pulled over. Your whole life gonna be different starting tomorrow. You don't want that to happen. So, be responsible tonight. Make good decisions. I'm hoping for everybody's sake that y'all do that, because you not only will be impacting your life, but the lives of others around you. So we got a lot to get into tonight. Well, actually, I say that, but not a ton. There might be a lot of music played tonight just because we're celebrating the fact that it's the end of the year. Don't be alarmed, though, because we still have a show this Thursday night. It'll be the first show of the year. So this is the last show of the year, and then Thursday is the first show of the year. So it's going to be a good week if you were a big fan of the Meaningful Jackson Show, because you got the season ending and then the season also restarting. Training camp was only one day, and it's tomorrow. And then after training camp, we dive back into the regular season, and that starts on Thursday. So thank you for tuning in. Love all the fans of the show. We had a really strong, this is our start, at least for this show. And so we had a really strong start, and that's because, people have been sharing and liking the show and, telling other people how good and funny it is. So I appreciate you guys for doing that. Appreciate all the feedback that everybody's provided. It's been great. We'll be continuing to have improvements being made to the show. So as the 2020 year progresses, the show will start to get much different. We're adding two people to the show. One person has already been picked, so that person will start to transition in here in the coming weeks. And then once we identify who our third host is going to be, we'll start to add them to the show as well. So already, like I said, big changes were coming. I'm gonna push it till about episode 25, and then after that, we're gonna still be rocking on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but we're gonna look to start incorporating our new hosts, potential guests, and just more random interviews. So thank you for a good 2019. We appreciate you being here, and we look forward to kicking it with y'all in 2020, man. It's gonna be a good thing. The Meaningful Jackson Show will be making big moves. So we're going to dive back into this music, and then we'll jump right back into the show, man. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get it. All right, now that the show has been introduced, you'll notice that I'm in my robe this evening. Mainly because I haven't had a robe since I was a young buck. Even when I was a young buck, the robe that I had was janky. And I don't think I appreciated the robe back then the way I appreciate it now. I'm feeling like royalty today while I wear this robe. I ain't gonna lie to you, fam. I might be in this for the next couple days. I mean, I got a hoop tomorrow, so I'm not gonna wear it to go hoop. But anything I do after I hoop tomorrow, I'm gonna probably be in the robe, even if it's in public. And you know why? Because this is like, you know when Superman put his cape on, or when Batman put his cape on. This is what that feels like. When I put this robe on, but when I pulled it out of the package today, and then when it graced my beautiful chocolate skin, things were just different. I automatically went to another level. So I decided I'm gonna do the show in the robe. Look at me. This is all premeditated, partner. So tonight I'm in the robe. We're relaxing. We're kicked back, man. We're closing out the year on a good note. We're rocking until 9 p.m., man. We're only through the first 10 minutes, so stay tuned, man. It's gonna get a lot more wild. The robe will be here all night. Don't worry. Right now they're listening to this Push It remix by Sean Kingston. After that, we are going to dive in. Oh man, let's see. What is our first thing? So I'm probably not going to talk about this live on the air because I don't know if a lot of people will care. But if you remember a handful of years ago, and it actually might be close to about 10 years now, and it might even be longer than that. But there's a radio host by the name of Don Imus. He's a long-time radio guy, but a lot of people probably don't follow the type of radio that he was doing. I don't want to speak incorrectly about him, but I want to say he had a long time show on CBS. I don't know what the main platform of his show was, or what, whether it was politics, sports, entertainment, whatever the case may be. But he had a long time show, and then he ended up talking about, I think it was the Rutgers girls basketball team, and he was the guy who called them nappy-headed hoes. So on December 27th, he ended up passing away at the age of 79. It's not like I'm obviously his passing, he's deceased. We're not going to be disrespectful or anything like that, but this is not something where I was like, oh my God, like we're super sad about Don. Like, no, we're not doing all that, because he's still corny as hell for calling those girls nappy-headed hoes. But I thought that was interesting that after all these years, because I know he ended up losing his show on CBS and being fired, but then he was eventually hired on by another network or platform, whatever, and then he ended up still continuing his radio career. But yeah, dead at 79, man. Don Imus. R.I.P. to your nappy-headed ass boy. Anyway, let me stop the music and jump into the show. Yo, stop the damn music. Let's get into the show. We'll let that record play afterward. But anyway, man, before we came back from the break, I said I wasn't gonna mention it, but now I will, since I literally was just talking about it. But you guys remember Don Imus, the radio host who called, I hope I'm saying the right team, but I think it was the Rutgers girls basketball team, and he called them nappy-headed hoes. Well, obviously I will never disrespect the deceased, excuse me. So I'm not going to be rude. But he passed away on December 27th at the age of 79. I thought that was interesting, and I wanted to bring that up because this is a radio show. Don Imus was a big radio personality, I guess, if that's how they want to be referred to. And he made some pretty serious comments about those females, just based on their hairstyles, calling black women nappy-headed hoes. That's not recommended. I'll tell anybody this. The last thing on earth that you want to do is you want to disrespect a black woman and her hair. You don't want to touch that shit. You don't want to look at it funny. You don't want to make faces at it. You don't want to do none of that. And Don decided that he wanted to call them nappy-headed hoes on the air. So I think at the time Don was working for CBS. He ended up losing his job. But of course, like most white men, he was, and I say, you probably gonna be like, yo, Nick, you wrong for saying that. But let's just be for real. So a lot of these guys who are in these positions of powers, they get their jobs back much quicker than women or minorities, and definitely not minority women. So they get their jobs back much quicker than those other people I just named. So that's why I said that. So in typical white man fashion, Buddy got another job. And then he stayed quiet, ish. He did his show, whatever, but I don't think he had any other incidents along the way. But December 27th, man, 2019, Don Imus dead at age 79. So I said this just, it's going to be on the recording, so I'm going to say it live on the air. But I did, when I closed out, when I was talking about him before we came back from break, I did, and I will quote myself, I did say, R.I.P. to your nappy-headed ass. So, even though I said I wasn't going to disrespect him, I'm only disrespecting him because, shout out to my sisters. But because he was wrong for that, So, now I have the opportunity to kind of speak my piece. But, yo, man, you never want to see anybody, pass away. But at the same time, that's just coming for everybody. Don did his thing, I guess. If you want to look at his career, he had longevity. He was, long time on CBS. I'm sure CBS is proud for what he did, the numbers that he, was able to obtain and the type of listeners that he brought in. But Don is no longer here. It's time for a new wave of folks. So R.I.P. sir. But anyways, man, it's big time for football right now. We're in full swing of bowl season. We are also starting the playoffs for the NFL this weekend. Games are set. A lot of teams didn't make it. A lot of teams are garbage for not making it and having rosters that are fully capable of making it to the playoffs. The Cowboys are one of those teams. And I'm going to bring them up because the one thing I did want to talk about on today's show that was sports related was the fact that we have seen a lot of people get fired today, because that's what happens after week 17 in the NFL. You start to see heads roll. One team that has yet to fire their coach, which is a big surprise, is the Dallas Cowboys. Now, you're looking at a team who on paper was projected to potentially go to and probably win the Super Bowl. You have a high-profile running back. You have, pretty high-profile receiver in Amari Cooper. And then you look at what they did with Gallup. They developed him. He's looking like he could be one of the best number twos in the league, or even potentially, an above average number one receiver for most teams around the NFL. You also have a really great offensive line, which is, they've had that for, a couple years. And then their defense was looking like they were poised to really make a run for best defense in the league. The only positions that they really are kind of shitty at is the secondary, but that's not a surprise. They've been bad in the secondary. But the linebackers that they have, the way people were playing, and their defensive front line, they looked like they really had a chance. Excuse me. But then you look at their coaching staff. I don't know, man. Yes, we can talk about Jason Garrett, but you also had Chris Richard was, coaching the defense. He's a former Seattle guy. And then it's weird to see a guy like Kellen Moore, who even just based off of his age, he probably should be in like his 5th or 6th year in the NFL. But yet he's on the sideline. Supposedly at the beginning of the season, he was calling a lot of plays for the Cowboys. People were kind of excited when they were 3-0, but then as you see, they started to fall apart. And then it went from, now it's Kellen calling plays to now it's more on the head of Jason Garrett and all this other stuff. The Cowboys went 8-8, typical. Didn't make the playoffs, typical. Now we're expecting heads to roll. Jerry Jones, longtime owner and general manager of the team, has yet to fire Jason Garrett, which is so confusing because, fam, he's one of the main reasons why your team did not do well. There's no need to delay the inevitable. Just fire him, bro. Now, here's what I've been saying all day. I think at this point, because Jerry seems unhappy, no one really makes him happy when they coach his team. Fam, why don't you just do it? You've been around this team and this game long enough to where you should know something about, play calling, how to scheme up against certain defenses, and how to put players in the right position to win. If you think that you can do better than the guy that you already have, just go coach the team. I know that sounds crazy and that sounds stupid and it'll never happen probably because he's too damn old to be, if they got to go to Green Bay, you're not going to see Jerry Jones on the sidelines with a headset on and a freaking hoodie like Bill Belichick calling plays. He's not going to do that. He's too old for that shit. But the problem is that he's too damn picky. He want all the greatest players. He want to have the greatest coach. He want to do all these things and be so great. But he's way too overbearing and too demanding. Fam, you've put your team in a position of where they're not going to be good and they're not going to win because you refuse to hire somebody and allow them to run the team. You still pretty much want to run the team. So you hired a yes man. You've had a yes man who's had the job for 10 years. And you probably haven't fired him because you felt bad that you put him in the position that you did. Then when you finally got him a team that probably could maybe do something, the team falls apart because he doesn't know what to do because he's not a good coach. Now you have decisions to make. Now it's Tuesday. He should have been fired Sunday right after the game. You saw it happen to a lot of coaches. Shit. We really had people who by Sunday night, early Monday morning were fired. Freddie Kitchens was fired. Let's see. I mean, he's not a coach, but Bruce Allen was fired from Washington, and then they ended up hiring Ron Rivera, or supposedly they're planning to hire Ron Rivera. Matt Patricia fired 6 of his assistants in Detroit. I mean, you're seeing heads roll as soon as the season is over. So now we're left wondering, why is Jerry Jones delaying the inevitable? And I think it's because he feels bad. I think he views Jason Garrett as like one of his kids. And he feel bad about having to do the right thing, which is part ways from your dusty ass, son. I'm going to just call him your son. I think that's how most people refer to him, because there ain't no way in hell you really wanted to give him the job to begin with. He was a backup for your team. He was a below average assistant coach, and then he was a below average head coach. And then Jerry thinks that Jason will have a job within 24 to 48 hours if he's let go. Why would you think that he would have another opportunity that quick? He's had one of the marquee jobs in America, and he sucked at it. Why would he get another job somewhere else? He's not good enough, fam. It's crazy to think, for all my friends who are Dallas Cowboy fans, like, y'all probably hate it right now. You did not have a good Christmas. You really thought this was the year that you were probably going to the Super Bowl. So shout out to my cousin. Shout out to my brother's cousin, JB. He's a big Cowboys fan. Garbage. Shout out to my cousin, Carolyn. Big Cowboys and Patriots fans. Both of those teams are garbage. Who else do I know is a Cowboys fan? There's a whole bunch of y'all, but you know what? A lot of y'all don't deserve to get shouted out on my show. My homegirl in Virginia, Amanda, she's a big Cowboys fan. I ain't gonna disrespect you though, because you'll probably whoop my ass. But either way, all you Cowboy fans, y'all are trash. I just did it anyway. You know why? Because I do what I want. You guys thought you were gonna get a Super Bowl ring, but you're getting a toilet bowl ring because you guys are straight doo-doo. So we'll see you next season, man. All the coaches that got fired, most of you didn't really, like Freddie Kitchens, you didn't deserve to have a head coaching job in the NFL. You are not a good coach whatsoever. Baker got you a job, then Baker finessed you out of your job. He's probably going to finesse himself out of a job. John Dorsey, the GM of the Browns, he has agreed to mutually part ways from the team because they couldn't agree on restructuring processes. So you see how dysfunctional things are in Cleveland. I can only imagine how dysfunctional they are in Dallas, but either way, it feels good to know for the first time in a long time that my Buffalo Bills are not one of these teams in late December who is already making a coaching change while also already planning a vacation. Because, baby, we are planning to win our playoff game this weekend against the Houston Texans, and that should be very exciting. It's been a long time since we won a playoff game. And look, man, I'm just going to say it, man. I hope my squad can go to the Super Bowl. If we win the Super Bowl, man, I might have to find me a robe that has Bills and some Super Bowl trophies all over. Or maybe I just need to find somebody who can custom make me one of those, and I'm going to wear that shit every time I have a show. Because I'm going to be that lit if my team wins the Super Bowl. But it's probably not likely because, you know what, it's the Buffalo Bills, so we're not that good. Speaking of not that good, because I'm watching the Longhorn game, and I'm a big-time, lifelong Longhorn fan, Being a fan of Texas means I am not a fan of Oklahoma, so this is a perfect segue into the show. We are killing the team that we are playing in our bowl game, and Oklahoma was killed by the team that they played. Oklahoma, listen, man, I got a lot of friends who are OU fans. Y'all can suck it too, because y'all talked all that shit all year. You guys get all these opportunities to potentially play for national championships, and you cannot get the job done. Lincoln Riley is a great coach. Jalen Hurts is probably going to have a promising NFL career. They have guys all on the offense, all on the defense. But when you bring the team to the big bowl games at the end of the seasons, they can never, ever get it done. Doesn't matter if it's Bob Stoops or Lincoln Riley. That's the MO for the Oklahoma University. You guys are doomed for life when it comes to big games. So, all you Sooner fans, it's going to be a hard offseason for you, knowing that you don't know who your quarterback is going to be next year. Jalen Hurts is not going to be there. He's going to either go to the NFL or he's going to go work at a car dealership. You probably are not going to have a top-tier wide receiver, at least not to the same degree that CeeDee Lamb is. So who knows what you're going to do. I think because Texas has so many people coming back, that means the Red River rivalry game is going to be off the chain. Texas by 4 scores. I'll put $100 against anybody's money for next year that game will probably be 4-score blowout, because Oklahoma just does not have it anymore. I think that's obvious by the way they let LSU come in and hang up crazy points on them. Defense was a no-show. And if you guys play like that against us next year, we're going to bust that ass. So I'm a big time Longhorn fan, so this is a big night for me. I'm glad that we're closing out the season by dominating the Utes. That's the nickname for Utah. I don't want you to think I was talking about, they might as well be the Uteruses. It's 37-10 when I'm watching it, man. They're the number 11 team in the nation. There's a reason why Utah shouldn't have been ranked this high and that nobody wanted to see them. So if you're a fan of the Utah Utes, you should not be upset when you see people on ESPN and all these like scouts and reporters not showing you guys any love for the college football playoff. You're not a good team because you allowed the Texas Longhorns to come in and dominate you in this bowl game. Got to get it together. But either way, I started off my little rant by basically wanting to say Oklahoma sucks. I'm happy they got blown out in their bowl game. And they were one of our top stories on the very last show of the Memecle Jackson Show 2019. So, shout out to all you Sooners fans. You suck. Nothing sucks more, or at least I can't imagine that nothing sucks more than watching your child be disrespected during a sporting event. So when I saw this video of Marlon Wayans, I thought to myself, man, what would I do as a parent? But then I also had to think, as a person who spent a significant amount of time organizing sports and having to deal with unruly parents, having to train people to become referees and do things like that, there's a part of me that feels like, as a parent, if you get upset while your child is playing sports, and you have a freak out and you start screaming at everybody, you're screaming at the refs, you're screaming at the staff, or maybe even other parents, coaches, whatever the case may be, I know that in your mind, you're not thinking about the fact that, one, you're probably embarrassing your child, and two, you have to remember that when they make the call, or if they miss the call and don't make it, whatever, that shit is done. You storming the court, getting upset, cussing people out, doing whatever, that does nothing for you. It does nothing for the situation. All it does is make you look like an idiot, and then the game goes on, and then they're just forever pissed off at the referee. So I see this video. There's not a ton of context. I'm just assuming that a ref either made a bad call or didn't make multiple calls that would have led Marlon to get upset by the way either his son or whoever he was there watching in the game. The video is listed that it's his son. Marlon's freaking out, and he's spazzing on the refs, kind of getting in their face. And I saw a lot of comments where even people who are friends of mine were like, yeah, I would have done the same thing. Now I'm going to tell you a quick little story. This is probably when I was in my early 20s. My brother and his dad used to own this business together, and then every year they would put on a basketball tournament in our area. to service, young teenage kids. And I know when we were coming up, like we played in it. And then, we worked it when we got older. So one year I'm working it, and you have, these are 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, high school, whatever, playing high level, intense basketball against one another. We get it. It's competition. Things get heated. Things get said. You guys are playing tough. It is what it is. The referees are on the court to manage the game and make sure that, I'll obviously make sure the game is called fairly, but also make sure that the kids are kept safe and that nothing gets out of hand. I've seen firsthand with my own eyes referees purposely take plays off, which ultimately led to these kids wanting to fight. While myself and my brother's dad go to break up this fight, I'm punched in the face by a 16-year-old. No, I was not knocked out, because I know that's what some people would think. Oh, he got knocked out. Nigga, no, I did not. But either way, right after that, you see parents in the stands fighting, and all this kind of started when a parent came out of the crowd screaming at the referees because the referees were not calling fouls. Then the kids on the court started getting into it because they're taking cues from their parents. They're being shown an example that to them looks as though all I have to do is overreact and maybe I'll get my way. Understand something, that in my story, what happens is that they start fighting, the game gets canceled, you're kicked out of the tournament. So by any of these parents and these kids freaking out, nothing changed. No calls weren't made better immediately. Like nothing happened because the game was immediately forfeited. That's how quick it is. And it was a team who came from another state. So you end up traveling all the way for this tournament. And then within the first 2 games that you play, you're already kicked out of it. All because you have a parent who feels like they want to make it about them. And I get it. You're frustrated for your child. But you got to understand that these are just other humans who are making judgment calls in the moment. You might see what you think looks like a foul, and they may see something different. Once the call is made, it doesn't matter. It's over. There's nothing you can do. You have to look to the next play. By you walking on the court and having a complete freaking mental breakdown, freaking out, wanting to spaz out, I don't think you help your child, nor do you help your child's team by doing that. You're not doing them or yourself any favors. You actually look, just in my opinion, I would feel that if it was me, I would feel that I looked very stupid. Now, I'm not going to say that I do think Marlon looks a little bit foolish by the way that he was acting, because I feel like he should kind of know better. I feel like Marlon's been around long enough to understand that by doing this, there was nothing to be gained. But I really was more disappointed in the fact that so many people were like, yo, you did the right thing, fam. Now, I obviously did not see what happened, at least the fouls that were or maybe were not called that led to him doing whatever it is that he was doing. But the fact that people were really trying to say that he did the right thing by walking all on the court and approaching the refs during a high school basketball game and cussing them out, y'all are crazy for that. That even if he has the full right to be pissed off by whatever happened, him walking on the court and approaching those people like that is not the right thing to do. There's nothing that you can do. You can file a complaint with the commissioner of the league or the director of the program. You can maybe send a nicely worded email to whoever's organizing the sports. But freaking out in the middle of the game and rushing the court does nothing for your team. Nothing at all. So, I don't know, man. Maybe it was just me, but I just did not think that the Marlon Wayans video was something that I was, wanting to prop up. In my head, I thought he just looked kind of foolish. Let's see. So anyway, after seeing that, I started thinking back on, some of my own experiences with, coaching sports, directing sports programs, running and organizing all that stuff, and just thinking of some of the parents who gave me a hard time and yelled at me because the referees miss, one or two calls every now and again. And even thinking about stories that some of my friends who've ref games, when they've told me about how parents rush the court and want to get in their faces and want to threaten to fight and, so on and so forth. I don't think a lot of you people realize how pathetic you look. It's your child playing sports. Like, it's going to be an environment where things are going to sometimes go their way, and then a lot of times it won't. But by, displaying all the rage and frustration and temper and allowing that to, flare up and ignite during their game, you as a parent, man, I think you're not leading by example in that moment. And if you are, it's a bad one. So, shout out to Marlon Wayans, man. I mean, you're a legend, but that definitely was not your finest moment. Probably a really shitty way to end 2019. I honestly believe that with the power that Marlon Wayans probably has, bro, he probably could have sent an email to whoever's organizing the league, and they probably would have took action against those referees if whatever happened was bad enough. Especially because now you got to think, like, everybody has that shit on tape. If you have a tape that shows where they were really screwing up, you can submit that, and they'll get the people retrained or get them out of the games. They'll do whatever because nobody likes bad press. Nobody. Even Marlon Wayans hates bad press, but look what you did to yourself, fam. It's crazy. So, any of my friends and listeners out here, man, if you got kids that are playing sports, listen, don't run on the court being all pissed off, causing a scene. I'm just letting you know that the people are going to look at you like you're stupid. Nothing different is going to happen. The game is still going to be called the way it's called. And I assure you that the staff, when they have meetings and they have conversations with each other, they tell each other that they don't really care what you think. So by you yelling and screaming at them, it's not going to change anything. It'd be one thing if they really firmly believe that they're wrong. I'm sure they'll fix it. Most programs are, high quality, and they have really great people running them. But I mean, a lot of parents just complain about bullshit. Like, directors of sports programs don't really be caring about that, bro. So like some of the stuff that y'all argue, it's just a part of the game. And you may not realize it because you don't know the sport the way that you think that you do. So just relax. And if you feel like you can't relax while you're in that environment, stand outside while your kid plays. Don't not go. Be close so your kid feels like they have support. But I recommend you not be in the gym if you can't keep your temper in control, because you're just embarrassing yourself and your child. So, thanks for tuning in, man. We're through the first 30 minutes of the show, man. We're going to get into some music, and then we'll be right back, man. This is the Meanquil Jackson Show. You're tuned in live. We are on Track Talk Radio Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, man. It's lit. It's December 31st. It's New Year's Eve. We're closing out 2019, so this is the last show of the year. And then we're back on Thursday with the first show of the new 2020 year. So just like tonight, it will be lit on Thursday. So we're gonna be right back after we pay some bills, man. Listen to this music, and then I'm gonna check back in with y'all shortly. Let's get it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, man, that Marlon Wayans video was crazy. It was weird to see sorry, I'm texting when I probably shouldn't be. It was weird to see on the video how much Marlon was kind of freaking out. I never thought I'd see him doing some stuff like that. So whatever happened must have been pretty bad, because he doesn't seem like the type of person to just erupt like that. But he was like in the middle of the court, like cussing and freaking out, and it was something, bro. And in my head, I'm thinking, bro, this is youth sports, high school sports. Like, I mean, I get it, maybe some bad plays or a kid gets undercut, it gets hurt, or you could tell that it's on purpose or whatever the case may be, but nothing can be that serious to where you're just like going off the deep end or whatever. Like, it's not worth it, bro. Just high school basketball. But shout out to Marlon Wayans, man. I hope he has some new material coming out, man, because we'd rather see that than see you freaking out at high school basketball games. Don't allow your career to end over some YouTube video or you having a meltdown. Not the move, my guy. So it sounds like it's pouring down rain out here in Seattle. I was reading some tweets that said the city of Seattle is thinking about canceling their fireworks show because the wind was a little too gusty. Now that I'm comfy in the robe, I don't imagine that I'm gonna be leaving and going out to go anywhere to maybe look at fireworks or whatever it is that people do on, New Year's Eve. I ain't gonna lie, fam, a nap sounds really good. Like a nap, or maybe a good like murder mystery movie or a documentary. Man, the documentary that I was watching today, and I'm probably late to the game. So by the time a lot of y'all see this, you're gonna be like, yo, this shit was mad old, fam. But I've been watching so much Hulu that I haven't been watching Netflix. So I finally go back to Netflix today, and I say, well, why not? I might as well watch this documentary, and it's called Don't Fuck with Cats. Excuse me. And I know at first I'm thinking like, bro, I'm not trying to watch a documentary that's about cat videos. I get it. People love cats. It is what it is. Who doesn't love a good cat video? I found out recently that I actually like them too. I like watching cats just smack the shit out of things and other people because I think it's just hilarious. Like, it's the one animal that has zero fear of things in its vicinity. It'll smack whoever, whatever, whenever. But apparently this documentary is not actually about cats. Well, I mean, it is to some degree, but it's actually about a guy who turns into a serial killer. Now, I'm only partway through. I think I'm maybe on the second or third episode, maybe. But the whole thing is crazy because they're showing how this person posted this video where he puts these cats, these two small kittens, in like a vacuum sealed bag, and he put them in there, and obviously he killed them by, suffocating them. He did that and then obviously posted on the internet because this whole thing is that he just wants attention. He wants to try to get himself famous. And so he did this video, and then all these people saw, and so they created this Facebook group because they want to try to catch this guy because he's hiding himself, he's very elusive, and he makes multiple videos, and then every video gets a little bit worse. And then eventually there's a human, and so he ends up on a live video, he ends up killing a guy. Like, they literally on the video, they show him stabbing the guy, and then apparently cut him up, and then mailed out his body parts to different places and shit, man. It was this shit is crazy. And so they're talking about, some of the fact that a lot of these behaviors and stuff that he was displaying was just him getting ready to take a human life. And the fact that this Facebook group was trying to contact they're trying to contact the police in Canada and letting them know about it and all these things, and it was as if they didn't even care. And then all the information that this Facebook group had tried to provide them, all the shit ended up coming true, and then they ended up, there was a body involved, and it just became a whole mess. So I started watching that today. It's just pretty intense, man. I don't know. It's one of those things where when you watch it, you do get a little bit uncomfortable because you're thinking about how real this is. And I know someone my size and stature, when I look at a lot of these shows, these videos, these movies, I look at some of these people and I'm like, bro, there's no way that they'll be able to get somebody like me. But when you look at some of the ways that some of these people move, and you just would never guess that they are the type of people who are out here stalking people, recording videos of them and then tracking them down and somehow getting them in the, in a very vulnerable and compromising position, and then chopping up a body. That shit is crazy, bro. This dude is just so crazy. And it's hard to even fathom what is going on in his head that he feels that he needs to do that shit. And to think it all started with him just doing these making these random ass cat videos. Like literally put two, like, and he's in the video playing with the cats and everything, just chilling. And then like puts them in this bag and then turns it on and then kills them. And then was playing with them after they were dead too. Like, bro, up here, everything up here is loose, bro. Whole brain, all screws, all that shit, loose. He didn't know what he was doing, man. So I'm knee deep in that. I probably need to stay in tonight so I can finish that. Maybe even tomorrow. But I'm really on all these murder mysteries and serial killer documentaries, bro. I'm trying to watch them all, man. This is how vacation is going. So even today I had to send a tweet out to the Oxygen channel, letting them know I think their stuff is lit, you know. Shout out to the Oxygen channel for the retweet, showing me some love. Hopefully they check out the show, man. If y'all need somebody to host a new murder mystery series, yo, I'm your man. Let me, hold on, is this my good side? No, it's this side. One of these sides is my good side. Maybe it's directly from the front. But either way, I'm trying to host a show on Oxygen. Vote for me. If there's ever a vote, put my name on it. I'm going to send in, 10,000 write-in votes. Maybe I'll get, picked for an audition or something crazy like that. But, in 2020, we're trying to get it, man. Oh, let's see, man. We got the song closing out. It's already 7:45. We got about another hour or so doing the show, man. And then we're going to let it close out with the music. But we got some good stuff on here. I'm about to talk about the most random thing, and it's this new commercial that Downy has, which is super, super weird, and it made me very uncomfortable because I feel like, look, I understand you're trying to show us how good your products work when it comes to preventing wrinkles, but y'all don't have to do what you're doing, okay? Because y'all are out there being nasty. Whoever's in the marketing department and setting up these ads, that person might need to be fired because they over there being nasty as hell. That's all I got to say about it. But here we go, man. We're about to jump back into the show. Let me sip my tea, get some water, and then we're going to get it. Hold up. Man, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Let me cut the music off. Man. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Meaningful Jackson Show. It is December 31st. Excuse me. It's the last show of the year, man. We are 23 episodes deep. It's been an interesting road getting this started. Having so many shows kind of come up so quickly with, almost zero complaints about content and the way, I'm acting, the way the behavior is. Because that was the one thing that I was expecting, that I would do this for a little bit and then somebody would have a complaint. But I'm very blessed to work with the people that I work with. Shout out to Sherry. Sherry lets me do whatever the fuck I want to do within reason, because she also knows that I'm not a complete dum-dum and I'm not going to do anything to outright embarrass her or tarnish her name. So again, shout out to her, man. One of the best gifts that could ever be received is the opportunity to be on, on this channel and have this show and do this week to week. So it's been a fun end to 2019, man. And 2020 is going to be a very successful year. We're going to have many more shows. We are moving locations very soon. We're adding co-hosts. There's even a rumor that the show might begin to be live streamed. So, and I mean like video live stream. So that could be pretty cool, man. Then we'll be live on the radio, live on the video. There'll be recordings. We'll have, new co-hosts, hopefully a bigger set with more props. All kinds of stuff, man. So 2020 should be a big year for the Meaningful Jackson Show. And anything that falls underneath that. So, again, shout out to Sherry, man. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support, man. We're going to be killing it in 2020. So, let's dive back in, man. We talked about Don Imus. We talked about the Oklahoma Sooners being garbage. We talked about the Dallas Cowboys being garbage. Man, a lot of this show is just highlighting the fact that a lot of these people are garbage. And I love that shit. We also talked about, Marlon Wayans, man, and him freaking out at his son's basketball game. Fam, I get it, but I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like as a parent, man, you gotta lead, you gotta set the example, and I think there's a better way to communicate your thoughts rather than just yelling at people. And I'm probably the last person on the planet that should be saying that, but I'm just speaking, specifically about sports in that environment. Like, man, not everything is going to go your way. Like, I would never want to see my son take a hard foul and have a referee just disregard it, because I know it's safety and, there's all these things. And I've been there. I've actually been thrown out of a game for getting mad at a ref when he probably was trying to do me a favor. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. You're going to get mad. You're going to get in the ref's faces and all that. But you have to understand that it doesn't change anything. You getting upset at a call, all it does is make you look stupid if you react and go overboard. That's all there is to it, man. I would say, man, the day I got ejected was on some dumb shit. So check me out. In typical fashion, I missed several layups, shot at 10. I'm not even gonna say just layups. It was a lot of shots. A lot of shots missed. I was having a rough day, let my frustration get the best of me. And at one point, the ref called a foul on a guy while I was shooting the ball. And the guy didn't even foul me. And it pissed me off because it made me feel like he was trying to take pity on me. And I lost it. And I got one technical, and I cussed him out, told him that he was a little bitch. I got the second tee, got thrown out. And then I refused to walk off the court in a timely manner, because they give you so many seconds before, like, they'll start, like, penalizing the team, or they do something like that. And I was, like, refusing to walk off the court. So it got to the point where my teammates were kind of getting like, yo, Nick, you gotta get off the court, bro. And I'm like, nah, fuck that. Dude pissed me off, da-da-da-da-da. Just wild. And being young, being stupid. But yeah, man, thrown out of the game for spazzing out on the refs over a bad call. The outcome was that I got ejected from the game and almost was suspended. And this is in a league, like a pickup basketball league. So it's like, we paid for this shit. They're talking about giving me like a 1-game suspension and shit like that. And I probably had that coming. I would have deserved that for the way that I was acting. But, my point is like, what's the point of freaking out and being mad? Because look at the end result. Like, I didn't get those 2 points. Like, we didn't get, the win. We ended up losing the game. Like, it hurts the team. Like, I made myself look stupid as hell. It's just all of these things. Like, it just is what it is. So, freaking out on referees, man, at basketball games, it's just probably not worth it. If you're not in the NBA, you're not getting paid. I don't know, man. Now that I'm 33 years old, what's the point, bro? Now I wish I would have never yelled at people during a basketball game, because it's just how stupid it is. But, it is what it is, man. Some people just, your temper gets the best of you. Shit happens. But anyway, let me get in to Downy. And you're thinking, Downy? Like the people that make dryer sheets and laundry items and stuff like that? Yes. Downy's been putting out some random commercials. There's a lot of people putting out random commercials. I'm going to dive into a couple of them, because now that I'm thinking about it, Folgers has one too that I got to discuss. Folgers and Downy. They're closing out the year on some nasty shit. Now, what I'm saying is, if you've seen the Folgers commercial, right? So I think it's a holiday commercial, just based on kind of what's happening with it. But it's a young lady who's getting ready to go into the bathroom, and you can hear the people narrating the commercial talking about how happy the families are to be together, and her father-in-law's there. But then she goes in the bathroom, pulls the shower curtain back, and her father-in-law's in the shower. Obviously, he's washing himself, so he's butt-ass naked. And she has already opened her robe before she pulls back the curtain, because she's getting ready to get into the shower. So you're under the assumption that she's naked. The way that they have the commercial organized, it gives you, gave me the creeps. Mainly because while the dude is in the shower, and she, has her robe open, and I'm sure that in the filming of the actual commercial, she probably was not naked. But they show him, he's naked, obviously, And the way he looks at his daughter-in-law was like, you know how you kind of like look at someone like, oh shit, look at the goods type of deal. It just made me very uncomfortable. And this was a coffee commercial. So I didn't understand why for a coffee commercial you had some old ass dude in the shower, butt naked, checking out his son's wife and giving her the Chester the Molester stare down. It just was weird. So now I get back to Downy. These Downy people, they're promoting one of their new products, these dryer sheets. And I ain't gonna lie to you, fam, they work great because I have some of them. Downy Wrinkle Guard. They make these sheets that are basically, they're so thick, it's like having 3 dryer sheets in one. Fam, I use 2 of these motherfuckers when I dry my clothes. Because I'm talking about, we're running 6 sheets pretty much. You want to know why? Because I want my clothes to literally have not one wrinkle on them. Now, the product does not work that good. If I'm just being honest, even with the 2 big ass sheets, some of my clothes still have some wrinkles on it. That's to be expected because I'm doing coin laundry at an apartment complex. I'm not working with some high level type of GE machine with, 10 different dryer settings. Like, I'm not working with any of that. I'm working with the coin laundry at the apartment. I'm lucky that the shit even works. Does anybody have any quarters left? I'm struggling. So for the most part, it does get a lot of the wrinkles out, but they have these commercials that are a bit strange. So the one I see yesterday was where it's 2 old people, and it looks like the old guy's working on something in a hallway closet. Sounds like his wife comes in to help him after he makes some claim that gives her the impression that her assistance is needed. As their grandson is walking down the stairs, you can hear several moans and comments that, if you're not able to, get a good visual on them, you might be led to believe that they're fooling around in the closet. And from the sound of it, probably sound like he's trying to put it in there. When they come out of the closet, because the commercial's about the dryer sheets, protecting you against all the wrinkles. When they come out, both their clothes are all wrinkled and they look very disheveled. So it gives you the impression that they just got it in the closet. The grandson is grossed out. He runs out of the house. This commercial was kind of disturbing just because of all the noises that were coming out of that hallway closet. Now, I don't know about you, but I do not want to imagine that there's a household where you have grandkids walking around and old people are banging out in the closet. It's weird. All right? Now, I know what Downy's trying to do. They want to get, like I said, they're trying to show you how impactful these dryer sheets are, preventing against multiple wrinkles. And, they don't want you to be looking like a goof while you're out. This is a weird jump from one of the other commercials that's just, a guy and a girl going out on a date. The guy's shirt is wrinkled, date doesn't go well. And I think they have another one where there's another guy and a girl that go on a date. The guy goes to kiss the girl on the doorstep, but her clothes are wrinkled, so her mom is like not having it. But then he comes back and his clothes aren't wrinkled and they love him for it. It is what it is, so I get it. Same thing with these old people. After the next phase of the commercial, they use those dryer sheets. There's no wrinkles. They're being just as nasty in the closet. But then apparently the grandson doesn't care. I know this is not a big deal, but I'm telling you, because I have the opportunity to get in a lot of hours of TV, because I watch TV while I multitask and do other things, I see a lot of these bullshit ass commercials. And I'm just not a fan of them, man. Like, I feel like if you're trying to sell products, there has to be a better, more efficient way to sell your product to me rather than make these bullshit ass commercials. Peloton is still making garbage commercials. Like the one where they have the black guy doing the workout on the Peloton, doing his most awful version of singing some, I don't know, who is that? Fugees? I think he's singing the Fugees, maybe. And it sounds awful. And it's like his son's doing homework. And then his son hears it. And then his son goes to check on it. But, his dad is so bad at singing that he can't even say anything. Words just can't describe how bad he is. But he looks so pumped getting that workout. I'm just like, come on, man. Like, I'm not buying this shit. If you're trying to sell me on your product, don't show me this dude ruining a classic song all before they even eat breakfast. I don't want to hear that shit. Same thing with Downey, man. I bought your dryer sheets. They don't really work all that great. They definitely don't work good enough to where I feel like I need to be subjected to listening to two old people get it on in a hallway closet. That was nasty. Downey, you got to do better, man. Just do better. Get me some better commercials. Please do better. And as I talk about people doing better, I want to talk about Seahawks fans. I need y'all to do better, man. Last Sunday night or Monday? Well, I mean, after last Sunday's game, you guys heard about both of your running backs being on IR for the season. So you're looking for replacements. By Sunday evening, early Monday, you hear about Marshawn Lynch coming back. Marshawn played. Sunday Night Football was a very good game between the Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers. Very good game. Obviously, San Fran beat them. And people were very upset because you brought Marshawn back. He got a touchdown. He leapt over the top for the, that goal line touchdown. And then, they had another opportunity to get another one late in the game, which probably could have solidified the win. But they ended up getting a delay of game penalty. It's weird to me the amount of people that thought that getting Marshawn guaranteed a Super Bowl. And then to see how bad the play calling was and time management was towards the end of that game, I'm not seeing how the Seahawks win the Super Bowl. But I will say I was happy to see Marshawn back, 24, still running strong, which is crazy because when you think about the shelf life of the average running back, you're talking about 2 or 3 seasons. And this is like the second time Marshawn's taken time away from the NFL, all just to come back and look as though he is still fully capable of dominating on a consistent basis. Now, he didn't play a ton. I mean, not as much as I think everyone was hoping for. But when he did play, he still was running hard. He still was agile. He still was very exciting. So I think it was good to see Marshawn back. I know Seattle fans were happy. But I know at the end of the game, they were not happy with Pete because they seemed to think that Pete screwed him over for another opportunity for a good touchdown run. I don't believe that because the delay of game penalties are usually on the running back. Now, I know people were saying that the Hawks were taking forever to get the play call in and they took forever to send Marshawn out there. But, come on, man. You have to know going into the game that if you're in goal line situations, you're probably going to the run. Your only real good running back, you had the rookie Homer was going, running pretty hard. Shout out to him. But other than that, you only have Marshawn and Turbin. So you already know if you're in goal line, you're going to go. You already had run the play earlier in the game. If either you're going to have him leap over the top, and you're doing that by doing like a halfback dive type of play, and he's just going to either go over the top or run through the gaps, or you're going to freaking fake it and bootleg out with Russ, and either way you're going to get the touchdown. And they have trouble deciding on one of those plays, and they end up taking the delay of game penalty. I think it's horrible time management and play calling. Even if you want to blame it all on Pete, I'm still going to I'm going to split the blame. 50-50 on him and Russ. Y'all got to be better. At the end of a game, a big game like that against a really good team that you're potentially going to have to fight against and go through in order to get to the Super Bowl, you cannot make mental mistakes like that. Pete and Russ proved again that in really big clutch moments that they tend to do the wrong thing a lot more than they do the right thing, at least in my opinion. So I'm hoping that for Seahawks fans that they get it together in the playoffs, because if you see a mistake like that this weekend or next, it's going to be a tough offseason. And I think after that, I don't know how management feels, but I think if that happens and if you lose a playoff game the way you lost that game to San Francisco, I think upper management they need to start looking at a way to replace Pete and maybe move on and find a whole new roster worth of star players. I think it might be time to move on from some of these other people. Because you're not going to be able to bring back all of these guys and hope that you're going to win a Super Bowl. You have a lot of young talent, but You also have guys that have been there forever and a day and still have yet to really accomplish much outside of the 1 year that they went to the Super Bowl and won a blowout game against the Denver Broncos, and then obviously going and then losing to the Patriots. And yes, you lost because you didn't hand the ball off when you're in the goal line set. So if they continue to make mistakes like that, I think it's going to be time to move on from Pete. And I don't know, man. Maybe I am just a hater. But I think maybe it should be time to move on from Russ. Send Russ to a different team because I know Russ is only getting older, and I feel like he's just out there kind of wasting time in Seattle. I'd like to see if he can go somewhere and really lead a team. And I mean, let's see if he's really good enough to go to another team that doesn't have Pete, that doesn't have this defense, doesn't have a Bobby Wagner, that doesn't have a Marshawn Lynch. I want to see him go to one of these other teams and go to a really young squad and help lead them to a Super Bowl. It's not likely because he's not even doing that shit here, but I think it would just be cool to see him in a different uniform. Let's start to shuffle things around. Seattle needs to go into a rebuilding mode. I think that's where you guys are at. If you don't win the Super Bowl this year, it's time to rebuild. I know I sound like an A1 hater, but I don't even care, man. Go Buffalo. But there was one funny thing about the Marshawn return. I saw this today before we went live on the air. There's a funny video that was floating around on Twitter, and it's just him on the sidelines with his ass out. And some trainer or intern or somebody rubbing something like on his ass or something. But it's just funny because it's just a video that's being shot, looks like by a fan, and they're just on the sideline, and he's just standing there with his ass out. It cracked me up because, like I said, Marshawn comes back. There's a lot of excitement in the stadium, but then there's always going to be antics on the sideline that just make you chuckle because Marshawn's just always keeping it real, and people just have zero chill. And of course, the internet is just a place where you're gonna see this shit. So that video popped up on Twitter. Thought that was hilarious. I don't know. Welcome back, Marshawn. But hey, Seattle Seahawks fans, y'all are not going to the Super Bowl, nor will you win the Super Bowl. So stop talking about the freaking Super Bowl. That's not something that's an obtainable goal for you guys. Get over it. But anyway, man, look, it's 8:05, man. Thank you for tuning into the Meanquil Jackson Show. We are about to dive into some music, and then we'll be right back, man. It's lit, man. Hey, it's December 31st. It's the New Year's Eve show, and we are turned up on Track Talk Radio. Oh, and don't forget, because we're in the last hour of our show, I'm pretty sure, because I haven't heard otherwise, but hey, the Ryan Show is going to be on later this week. So if you guys haven't already, because they go on Thursday, you need to take time after you listen to my show tonight and go listen to some clips of their show. I'm sure you can find them on YouTube or whatever, and then get ready because they'll be on Thursday, man. So everybody should be ringing in the new year with dope-ass podcasts and things like that. It's going to be lit. So shout out to the Ryan Show. I had people asking me about that today. I almost felt bad because they're like, yo, are they coming on tonight after you? And I'm like, nah, fam, because it's only Tuesday. They're going to be on Thursday. So after my show tonight, you should go check them out on YouTube. But then stay tuned on Thursday. Directly after the Meanquil Jackson Show will be the Ryan Show. So we're going to take a short break, but then we'll be right back, man. Enjoy this music. We got some Cameron, and then maybe some Los, and then maybe some Drake, maybe some Donnie Klang, all kinds of stuff, man. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned. It's lit. Oh, man, listen to Cameron. Oh, boy, that old school record. Texas, 38-10. Easy win in our bowl game. Utah, complete garbage football team. We never better talk about Utah going to the playoff again. Ever again. So, man, it's been a pretty good year, man. And being that it's a good year and we're doing the end of year show, I was looking at some other guys who were doing end of year shows, mainly Joe Budden and Charlamagne the God. I think they did one the last couple of years. where they've done like an end of year like wrap up, and I guess I don't know if it's just specifically like hip hop, but hip hop entertainment, just I think they review a lot of that type of stuff, but they're doing an end of decade wrap up show. They already recorded it, so it's up on YouTube if you hadn't had a chance to check it out. But it's got to be good stuff. It's got to be funny because it's Joe Budden and it's Charlamagne the God, two guys who have zero problem, talking their shit, speaking their mind, giving you, crazy opinions, giving you facts too. But I'm sure that shit is good, man. I saw a lot of people were showing a lot of love to it. So I'm excited to finish watching that. I'm going to check that out either tonight or tomorrow. At least watch the rest of it. I watched a clip where they talked about Drake. And Charlamagne was talking about how he thought that the Drake and Meek Mill beef was one of the best of the decade for sure. But I think I don't want to misquote, but I also want to say that he mentioned that he was feeling like it was one of the best of all time in regards to like impact. And I think, and Joe obviously let him talk, and so I think he gained a better understanding. But you could tell at first when Joe heard that, he was like, "Fam, are you kidding me?" Because to most people, it looked like Meek said what he said about Drake, and then it looked like Drake washed him on 2 records, which is basically what happened. They've since then reconciled their beef, and they've been cool, and they've gone on to make more records and so on and so forth. But Charlamagne really was believing that was one of the best beefs of the decade. I think for me, I was never impressed by the Meek versus Drake thing. I didn't think Drake's stuff was very good. But I did like the fact that he made a diss record that was in some degree similar to Tupac's Hit 'Em Up, just by the fact that it was something that like they were able to use and have it be played in clubs, and it was on the radio and all. It was like everywhere. So like Meek could not escape that record because it received so much mainstream play. So I think that was pretty impressive. But overall, man, like Drake's lyrics are just okay. I don't know. I don't feel like he really killed me. Like he said a couple of things, but like I don't know, man. It's just I feel like there are better beefs. I think Pusha T versus Drake was better than Meek versus Drake, but that's just me. But I also I think people will say Pusha T won that. And I know Drake kind of addressed this recently in some interview that he did. I think Pusha T only won it because like he just basically gave us some like pretty solid gossip information by, unearthing that Drake had a child that no one knew about. But I don't think that really had the impact that maybe he thought it was gonna have. Cause like, I don't know. Like I know people care, but like, I don't know. Who cares if he has a kid that he hasn't told anybody about? That's his choice. Like, you guys are talking about rap, stuff you do in rap. Like, you just mentioned that he had some former stripper baby mom and a child. Like, I get it. But people were like, oh yeah, he killed him for that. I'm like, but that's not rap though. That was some stuff, some info he put in a rap song, but that's not, he didn't kill him like with the song. He killed him with like a couple of lines. Like, I don't know, man. But Drake basically said that, he feels okay with it and he can sleep at night because he knows he wasn't outbarred. I can't disagree with that because listening to Pusha T's record, like, this shit was just okay. Nothing about it was really all that spectacular. The beat was just okay. Like, I don't know, man. I think the best diss of last year was probably, it wasn't even really last year because I think it was more at the tail end of like 2018. Oh, well, I guess even the Meek Mill thing, that's kind of old too. But I don't know. I guess the best beef in recent memory, best rap beef, and it really is not even a rap beef, but as far as like putting out good diss records, you probably had to say that the Eminem MGK one. Because at least like MGK, his Rap Devil thing was pretty decent, even though Killshot pretty much ended his shit. I think we can all agree on that. Kill shot was exactly what M listed it as. It was the kill shot. He killed him. MGK was ruined after that, at least in my opinion, because there's not a whole lot you can come back from after getting torn up like that on a record. But even that to me was better than Drake versus Meek. And yeah, also because you know that once you beef with Eminem, there is no way that y'all become friends afterwards. And even if you do, you look at the people M is maybe cool with now after he beefed with them years and years ago. It takes like 15 years to get cool with Eminem after you beef with him. You think MGK is going to still be here in 15 years, bro? I don't think so. He's so damn terrible. Oh my God. I was listening to that Kill Shot shit today, man. I'm telling you. What does he say about him? And he talked about Budden on there. He talked about Charlemagne on there. When he said, who else wanted Kels, Budden, Els, like, I don't know, fucking nails in these coffins as soft as cotton nail. He was going in on them. I was like, yo, what can you do after that? You have to respect it. Then I feel bad for Eminem because that just he opened the gates himself for other corny ass wannabe people to try to diss him, and then that's how we ended up having to end 2019 with one of the worst rap beefs of all time that also features Eminem, and that's him versus Nick Cannon. So things just have not been all that great for rap beefs lately. Let's get into the show though. Yo, let me just stop that real quick before we let that run too long. I don't want to just have y'all. I know we said we're gonna have a lot of music, but I don't want to let that run for too long just yet. We'll let that song play when we go to our next break. But one thing I was wondering today, because I'm watching. What was I watching? So I'm watching this the Don't Fuck with Cats documentary on Netflix, which ends up being about serial killer, whatever. And so obviously when they're at the beginning of the show, they're kind of going through how a lot of these things start to kind of like all come together before they try to track the dude down. And they're like going through Facebook and they're like looking at photos, and you know how all of these shows are like, yeah, well, we try to like track them down by looking at the photos and this and that. And then it got me thinking, because obviously in the beginning, the person that, like, the account that they were chasing was, I think they were using somebody else's photos or something, or maybe they thought they were. So I started to think like, yo, I wonder if there's anybody out there right now that's currently using any of my photos to catfish, to try to attract sugar mamas, or anything like that on the internet. I want to know, and I'm not sure how I find out if that's happening, because I know sometimes people will just send you stuff like, yo, I seen somebody using your pictures, but I want to know if I'm good looking enough to have my pictures used by other people to, help advance their dating life, or, I guess, maybe trap people. Obviously they're lying because it's not me, it's somebody else. But I think it would be pretty interesting. I've always said this. Say if I could be like on a show like Catfish, I would love it if Neve called me and was like, hey, is this you? And then I get to be that person who makes a video for that other person being like, look, I'm sorry, it's not me. And then you know how they lie to them and they say some bullshit like, maybe in another life or something, or if we had met, you never know. I hope you find what you're looking for, da-da-da-da-da. Like, I want to be that in a video. I want somebody to have been thinking that they were talking to me this whole time under the impression that there was a chance for a shot at real love, and then come to find out it's some like 65-year-old white dude who lives in his grandmother's basement, only eats Hormel canned beans. It's like some crazy shit like that. But if there's a way to find out if your photos are being used, please let me know. I want to see if I have what it takes to have my pictures stolen and used by other people for dating purposes. I think that would be kind of cool. And I know that shit sounds crazy. People are probably listening to me like, yo, this guy's a freaking lunatic. But like I said, man, I think it would be kind of cool, man. I know that this happens to some people, but it hasn't happened to anybody that I know just yet. And it definitely hasn't happened to me. So I feel like, that could be something cool for my, for my rep and my, little social media cred, get somebody to use your pictures. I think it'd be funny. But anyway, man, about this documentary, Don't Fuck with Cats. I know I'm super late. I have not been watching Netflix, but I just can't get over how crazy it is. This dude was on, he was on multiple news outlet interviews, because I don't know if he was pretending to be a model or if he actually was a model, but he was trying to pretend like people were hating on him and sending him death threats and shit like that. So he was like doing interviews over that shit, all in an attempt to get his fame up, because he wants to be a famous serial killer like other serial killers. It's crazy to think that there's actually people who sit around, like, in the same way that I wanted to be like Michael Jordan growing up. There are people who are like, fuck, man, I wish I was Ted Bundy, dog. Or I wish I was Jeffrey Dahmer. Or I wish I was, one of these goofy ass MFs that, do these things. Like, there's people who really want to be that. Why do you want to be that? Like, I get one to be a football star, a great gymnast, or, some, crazy science. And you want to be a good scientist, like, Bill Gates, or you want to, have that type of skill, whatever. But like, the fact that there's people who are like really out here wishing that they could be a serial killer, what the fuck? And to think, man, you think of like the little behaviors that they start off with. Like, this guy had started by murdering just 2 little kittens. And then there was a dog, and then there was something else, and then it escalated, and it becomes a human. And then the guy's on the run everywhere. That's crazy shit. And it's crazy to see his mother on some of the interviews. And she's like trying to switch it up to where it's like, well, you guys got it all wrong. It's not him, it's somebody else. Like, bitch, what? We got him on video, fam. What are you talking about? There's video of him. And even when the cops show up to the house and they're like, hey, we're looking for your son, the first thing she says is this about the cat videos? So then right then and there, you already confirmed that it was him. You confirmed it. So how are you sitting there on the interview trying to like convince us that this not him? This is a setup or some shit. Or that y'all got the wrong guy, it's somebody else. I get it. It's a mother's love. She loves her son. She'll do anything to protect her son. But listen, bitch, your son is a serial murderer. Those are not the type of people you protect, regardless of whether or not y'all share blood. I'm sorry. But if you end up wanting to protect somebody who's doing shit like that, like, yo, you have your own set of problems that you need to deal with. Ridiculous. But then, I kind of think, like, man, what would I do if I had a child and it turned out they were a serial killer? But I don't know, man, because it just depends on how big the reward is for Crime Stoppers. I think that's what it ends up coming down to. If I'm turning my own child in, is there a reward? And I know you're probably thinking, yo, that's grimy as hell. But at the same time, look, think about the type of scrutiny my family will be put under, how embarrassing it'll be. At the very least, I should get about 5 to 6 racks for turning him in or her in. If they end up doing some wild shit like that, I'm going to let my kids know at an early age, look, if y'all end up doing some wild shit and end up killing somebody, I'm going to turn you in. I'm not about to have you hiding out at my crib. And then me end up having to do like 5 to 10 years for harboring a fugitive or, obstructing justice or some shit like that. I'm not doing that, man. I know me, I'll end up dying in prison because I'm not doing shit a motherfucker say. I might have to purposely find ways to stay in like confinement and lockdown so I don't get killed in gym pop, because I don't ever be quiet. I'm too disrespectful. So yeah, I won't make it in prison. So my kids can't be serial killers. And if they are, they're getting turned in quick. Crime Stoppers, let me get that 10,000. It's gotta be 10,000. I feel like if you're gonna turn your own kids in, It can't be anything less than 10,000. And Crime Stoppers is cheap. They don't really be giving rewards that's bigger than that. But I get it though. I mean, local police agencies, them motherfuckers ain't got no damn money. And if they do, they're not giving it to people who are turning other people in. Because all they have to really do is they just have to finesse evidence. If they really want someone to go down for a crime, they'll find a way to make it happen, even if it ain't the right person. So they don't give a shit about Crime Stoppers. That's why the reward is so damn low. But yeah, man, that don't fuck with cats, man. That shit is crazy. It's crazy to think of like how people will band together on Facebook in those groups to try to like divvy out information and get people caught up. And man, if you have not watched it, I once you get into it, you're gonna be hooked. I assure you of that. What else was I watching? Dateline. Dateline has these crime shows. What is it, like Criminal Confessions or Confessions of a Killer, or I don't know, some show where the brother Craig Melvin is like the host, and Craig will get on there and, he does his thing, and then they get into these stories. But man, some of the stuff that I've been watching on the Oxygen Network, again, shout out to them. And I'm going back through this because, man, I've just become so obsessed with these crime documentaries. And not to the point, obviously, I'm way too lazy to get out and do shit like that. I don't be leaving the house. So, no shot in hell of me becoming one of these types of people. But I do think it's fascinating the fact that there are humans that are walking amongst us, that their brains function on these planes with these types of killers. And I think it's interesting to like hear how they go about all this stuff. So one thing I'm trying to do before the end of 2020 is I want to have somebody who is either like a serial killer profile on the show, or maybe if we can set up like an interview with somebody who's done some tracking on one of these big time, highly publicized cases. That is going to be my goal. So I'm going to start reaching out to my connects and seeing who we can like get in touch with to try to line up one of these interviews. And then I want to give them a whole, even if it's just one show, we'll give them a whole 2 hours if they want 1 hour, or shit, if they need to come on for like 5 or 6 episodes to tell the story of one of these people, I will let them do that. I think that will be so lit. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be able to pull that off in 2020, but I will keep you posted, man. And we are also going to finish our moon landing stuff because I have not given up on that. I'm just trying to do a little bit more research and just find out how all this stuff is connected. It's tough because when you get into it, because there's Nazis that are connected, you start to end up going down all these other rabbit holes, and I just end up getting distracted, and then I forget what actual type of moon type of information that I've left off or haven't said on the show. So I'm trying to gather as much stuff as I can and trying to find some new stuff, but I also want to get some other people in here to talk about this shit. So I think as we add our co-hosts and start having more guests, then the topic of the moon landing and the Nazis and their involvement in NASA and all that good stuff, we're going to get more into that because I want to hear more people talk about it. It's going to be a crazy ass year because the content of the show is going to start to get so different, and we're going to be dedicating entire episodes just to one topic, I think. And it's going to be more of that and less bouncing around doing all kinds of like goofy ass articles, because although that shit is hella fun and makes for good laughs, I do want to bring some content to the show where we can have some real discussions around some stuff. So get ready for that, man. In 2020, it's going to be lit. Let's see, man. I have some things saved that I want to get into. Because we only got about 30 minutes left, man, and then it's going to be time to go to sleep. I know most of y'all are going to be getting ready to go party, but, man, I got to go to sleep. So I wanted to dive into this. I thought it was funny because, and I don't know, maybe I talked about this last week, but I saw a video where it was talking about how Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens quarterback, had gifted all of his offensive linemen Rolexes for at the end of the season. Now, if maybe some people don't know this, but for those of you who do not know, a lot of times quarterbacks in the NFL, after they have a really good season, they like to go out and get their offensive linemen fancy gifts or take them out to dinner or whatever. It's just a show of appreciation for helping them achieve good stats throughout the course of a season, helping them stay healthy, and all that kinds of stuff. So it's a way to give back. A lot of times this is fairly publicized because almost every team does it. The quarterback position is the most important position in the NFL. I guess technically it's second because the most important one would be the offensive line, because without a good offensive line, your quarterback has no protection. He will ultimately end up being hurt. So in order for you guys to get gifts and get free dinners at the end of the season, you have to have had a good year. So the Ravens obviously have had a very good year. Hopefully they'll continue to do so. They are poised to win a Super Bowl, and that comes on the backs of their quarterback, their offensive line, and all their other star-studded players that they have on both sides of the football. He gets them Rolexes as a show of appreciation. And then, of course, like anything, there's going to be people who feel like that is a bad decision and they are going to speak their piece. So, because it's the holidays, you're going to have people who like to complain about everything, but it doesn't need to even be the holidays for that to happen, because people complain about everything all the fucking time. Looks like we have a young lady who, she said that she was very disappointed. She says she's disappointed that in an age where professional athletes are making an insane amount of money, he couldn't have donated to charities and done it in the name of his offensive lineman, and then maybe treated his teammates to dinner. These players can all afford their own Rolexes, so it's very discouraging that someone didn't give him a little guidance. It just flaunts the amount of money they make and don't know what to do with. Sorry, Lamar, I'm not such a big fan now. So, you literally have a lady who's telling a young man that she's no longer a fan of him and his talent because he opted to use his own money that he earns, his money. He decided that he wanted to use that to buy Rolexes for his teammates. That's what he decided. So this lady, her name is Karen Price. Karen Price, tonight you're going to become a star on the Meemco Jackson show because you are one of these loud ass freaking white women who have nothing better to do but to complain about what other people are doing. Karen, let me tell you something. No one gives a shit if you are no longer a fan of this gentleman and his ability to play football. And if you are no longer a fan of his based on the fact that he made a decision about his own money, you are, and let me put this lightly, you're a fucking idiot. And you're probably thinking, damn, Memes, that's kind of harsh. And I'm like, I know. But at the same time, why is this woman worried about this nigga's pockets and what he does with his fucking money? And how are you viewing this as an example of him flaunting his money? Most of the time when quarterbacks have good seasons, a lot of time the gift that they get, the offensive lineman, is Rolexes or watches or some form of jewelry. It's not, I don't know. I don't know what she was expecting them to. I understand the example that she gave probably was a good one. Donate to a charity in the name of their offensive line. That could be something that's cool, because then you're putting things towards helping other people. But listen, man, a lot of these players, they spend their off days doing community service all throughout the season and in the off season. If my man decides that he wants to use his money that he earns week to week, if he wants to give that to his offensive lineman and he wants to use it to buy Rolexes, who cares? Lady, why you counting his money? Don't you worry about you. And your little charity idea, I hope that you went out as soon as you wrote this freaking whack-ass little essay that you wrote. I hope you went right out and donated money that you had to a charity. But the fact that we continue to see this all the time, these stupid ass people who want to complain about what other players are doing with their money or how their voices are being used and this and that. It's like, bro, I'm so tired of that shit. Especially from corny ass people like Karen Price. Karen, you suck, lady. But I did think it was funny that she took time out of her day to write a small little piece and send it into some media outlet. And of course they published it. Why wouldn't they? Karen was gravely concerned about the fact that Lamar Jackson earned money by playing football and then spent money that he earned playing football to give it to his other football friends. How dare he use his own money and give it to his friends? How dare he not take that money and donate it to the charity of my choice? How dare he make me feel offended in some type of way because of how he spent his money? I don't know. I can't even make fun of these people because of how stupid and lame they fucking sound. But that's how corny it is. Really complaining about another nigga's pockets. Crazy. What's even crazier than that, is imagine, and I got a friend who's getting married in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. Hope this does not happen to my friend. Obviously, this would never happen to my friend. That was a joke. Nothing but the best. I'm super excited to go to this wedding. Shout out to my guy Vic. Shout out to my homegirl Julia. Very happy couple. They're going to be great for the rest of time, and they're going to have a wonderful life together. It's awesome to see them get married. But because that's coming up, and then this topic popped up, I figured I would talk about this on the show. And I don't know if this video is fake, but there is a video of a couple who gets married in, I think it's in China maybe. And in this video, they say that the groom they played a video at their wedding reception. And it's so the title of this article, it says, "Groom takes revenge on his cheating bride by playing a video of her naked in bed with her brother-in-law at their wedding in front of all of their guests." Some people are saying that it's fake, but other people believe that it's real. So if it is real, this dude literally played a video of the woman he just married getting her freak on video, and he played it at the wedding reception in front of their friends and all their family members. You gotta, if that is real, bro, you gotta be the pettiest MF on the planet to do some stuff like that, bro. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? You've walked down the aisle, your family's all seeing you, you're looking good in your dress, he's looking good in his suit. You walk down, and then you guys are doing a quick announcement. Maybe you're about to do a father-daughter dance, or you guys are going to have your first dance. The food is looking good. Everybody's eating, open bar. Shit, if you're at my wedding, we have a weed bar, free weed, everybody getting lit. But you're doing all these wonderful things. It's such a beautiful day. Hopefully the weather's good and everybody's happy. And then all of a sudden, after the announcements, there's a video of you getting effed on camera by your brother-in-law? Fam, you know how grimy that is? You're doing your brother-in-law, and that video is being played at your wedding reception. How horrible of a feeling. That feeling in your stomach. You know when your stomach is really hurting and you got a boo-boo so bad? This is that, but magnified times 100. I feel like the second that video pops up, if you don't shit yourself in that moment, maybe something's wrong with you. Because I know I probably would lose all sense of control if I was to look up and there was video of me getting my freak on, and then over to my left or to my right, my mom and my sister and my dad, you know, all my friends and family are all sitting there and they're looking at me and I'm looking back at them like, look, man, I told you I was a star. You know, well, let me stop. Because I say, if you do that to me, man, I don't know. I probably play it off as like I don't care that much. But in this video, these people looked very shocked. The girl looked devastated. They're doing everything they can to get it off the screen. You can tell people are embarrassed. But there is still the added element of somebody saying that the video might have been a publicity stunt. So I hope that it is fake. just to, because you feel embarrassed for the girl as well as the groom, because he's literally playing the video of him being cheated on. But you also got to think he must have been feeling some type of way to actually like want to cue that up and play it at the reception. But man, that was a hard video to watch. I mean, you don't really get to see a lot of the video, but even just reading the article, man, if that shit is real, whew, I feel bad for that girl. Girl, you were all the way fired. But the part that confuses me is why go through the process? Now, unless maybe you're just like, look, I'm just going to enjoy the day. I'm going to let her think everything is copacetic. And then I'm going to play this video. And then after that, it's going to all be ruined, whatever the case may be. Oh, and I don't know how it is in their culture or what their customs are. But think about it in America, where in most situations, if I'm not mistaken, the bride's father pays for the wedding. So imagine if you're the groom and you catch your girl doing this and her dad is already foot the bill for all of this stuff, and you allow the wedding to proceed as planned. And then as the night is coming to a close, you click play on the Blu-ray player. Because if I got it, it's going to be on Blu-ray. I'm gonna have the director's cut of this video with freaking, my own special commentary at the end. The DVD commentary is going to be lit. But you let the whole day go on, and then at the end, you cue up this video, and it's your girl creeping. Imagine if you're that girl's father. Like, damn, bitch, I just wasted all this money on you. And you was out here doing family so grimy. It's crazy. What's a wedding cost these days? 25, 30 racks easy. Imagine somebody's dad paying 25 or 30 racks for a wedding, all to find out that his daughter was just getting it in with another family member. Jesus. Some of these people, man, I don't understand it. If you're going to do stuff like that, why even get married? Why do you want to get married if you're going to be doing grimy ass shit like that? It doesn't make any sense. But that was crazy, man. I don't know. I hope that video is fake. I also hope that this is fake. Now, I get it because a lot of states have a 3 strikes and you're done type of rule. So I totally get it. But I also get confused as to why when they go to evaluate the space inside of a prison, and you look at who's in here and how overpopulated are we or are we not. When things like that happen, do we not look at some of these old cases and say to ourselves, like, hey, do we still need to be paying for so-and-so to be in here? Especially if this person has been in prison since 1982 and is serving a life sentence for stealing $9. You notice how I said that very slow, and I wanted to make sure you understood it so you heard it correctly. Since 1982, we have a black man in the state of Alabama who is serving a life sentence for stealing $9, all because when he got caught for stealing that money, he was on his 3rd strike. So I'm wondering why we don't take cases like that and evaluate them and go, look, at some point, like, maybe we let this guy go. He's been in there since 82, fam. In a few short hours, and even in some places around the world, it's already 2020. My man's been locked down since 1982. Willie Simons, a 62-year-old black man from Alabama, has been behind bars for the last 38 years for stealing $9. He was convicted of first-degree robbery and was sentenced to life without parole in 1982 due to Alabama's habitual offender law. He already had 3 prior convictions. Holy shit. So, Beth Shelbourne, who's a reporter for WBRC, shared Simmons' ordeals in a thread on Twitter after having a conversation with him. Shelbourne said that Simmons, an Army veteran, so he's an Army vet too, Jesus, who became addicted to drugs while assigned overseas, was 25 years old when the state said he should die in prison. Since 2005, he hasn't had a visitor after his sister passed away. Now, at the age of 62, he's been incarcerated in Holman Correctional Facility in Escambia County, Alabama, which is considered one of the most violent prisons in the country. Despite that, he is studying for his GED, trying to stay away from the wild bunch. Damn, Simmons is not denying the crime that he committed that landed him in prison for life. He admitted he was high on drugs when he wrestled a man to the ground and stole his wallet that contained $9. He said he was trying to get a quick fix. Fam, we get it. Shit happens. I felt, bro, for $9, you told fam that he needed to die in prison for stealing a nigga's wallet and it had $9 in it, bro. Fuck. Simmons recalled his trial, which lasted about 25 minutes. He said his appointed attorney didn't call on any witnesses and the prosecutors didn't offer a plea deal, although his prior offenses were non-violent. They kept saying, "We'll do our best to keep you off the streets for good," he said. Over the years, he has filed for several appeals, even without an attorney, and those were all denied. He said, in a place like this, it can feel like you're standing all alone. I ain't got nobody on the outside to call or to talk to. Sometimes I feel like I'm lost in outer space. Jeez. Says that lawmakers in 2014 have since removed the last avenue of appeal for those serving life without parole under the habitual offender law like Simmons. However, Simmons is hoping his cruel sentence can be reconsidered. He says that, yes, he's been hoping and praying on it. He said he's not giving up, man. Yo, fam, stay strong in there, bro. That's fucking crazy. I mean, I get it, man. You can't have people just out here wilding, but you're talking about giving a dude a life sentence for, getting in a scuffle with a dude and then taking buddy's wallet. And, yo, my man only had $9. You sent a guy away for life over $9? $9. That shit is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Shout out to Willie, man. Keep your head up, big dog. Man, I feel bad that he hasn't had a visitor since 2005, man. I don't know, man. Maybe I should write a letter to this guy. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write Mr. Simons a letter, see if we can get it sent to him. Just let him know, man, hey, stay strong in there, bro. We're gonna try to find a way to, and I'm sure people are already working on it. But I'm gonna see if I can connect with some people and we can try to, matter of fact, where's Kim Kardashian at? If she's supposedly responsible for getting all these people out of prison, you need to, hey, listen, let's find some ways to get some people connected so we can get you down to Alabama and maybe you can help out Mr. Simons and help him get out of prison. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your time. I know you have a family to take care of. You got a newborn baby at home. I mean, not a newborn because Kanye's not a newborn. But you got a baby at home that you got to take care of. I get all of those things. But maybe we need to, get you on this case because apparently you have some type of pull that can help, turn some of these things around for people. But fam doing a life sentence over $9, that shit don't seem right. So, but at the same time, in the state of Alabama, nothing surprises me. Oh, man. Let's see, man. I did not know this, but I think it is pretty crazy that starting pretty soon, the legal age to purchase tobacco goes up to 21, which I'm still kind of unsure why at this point in life they haven't just eliminated tobacco altogether. How is it that we're still manufacturing cigarettes and things like that? I get it. Tobacco farms are always and forever going to be a thing. But with everything that you know about tobacco and the state that it puts people in, why is this something that just hasn't been eliminated? Tobacco is disgusting. People who smoke cigarettes. You were not a disgusting person. You were just a person who has a disgusting habit. So I want to make that clear. I'm not calling you a disgusting person, because I know people smoke cigarettes for many, many reasons, and some of them are all the same. Some of them are very different. Some people just smoke cigarettes because they get stressed and it calms their nerves. I get it. Yo, man, smoke some weed, bro. Why smoke cigarettes? I don't understand that. And they're fucking disgusting. They're so disgusting. And I'm sure people who smoke cigarettes are probably like, yo, people who smoke weed are so disgusting. But like, fam, cigarettes are disgusting. God, I'm out in public the other day. I'm just literally at work, standing outside. What was I doing? I just was chilling with one of my students. And there literally was somebody that was standing like 10 feet from us. They're outside in front of a clinic. This person was not on it, but the person they were with, I literally watched them walk into the building. The person that they walked into the building with literally had an oxygen machine. They got them all settled. They walked back out, and they literally stood out there and smoked 2 cigarettes back to back, and then went back inside the clinic. Fam, the person you were with was on an oxygen machine. How long is it before you're taking that person's place and being in there on that damn machine? Is it worth it? Like, honestly, ask yourself, is it worth it to smoke cigarettes? And is it worth it to walk around smelling like shit all day? Come on, man. It ain't worth it. I gotta get some new hobbies or something. But very interesting, man. Legal age to buy cigarettes is gonna be 21 pretty soon. 21, man. I worked at a gas station once when I was 18. Fam, I couldn't even touch the cigarettes to hand them to people because cigarettes grossed me out so much. I love my mother. Shout out to Von D. Love you, mean it. But my mom smoked cigarettes for hella long. I never liked that shit. I was never a fan of them. Not even just because of the smell, but because I seen the effects of not being on it. And I've seen how it impacted my mom every time she tried to quit cigarettes versus how she was every time that she was on them. The vibe is always different. The mood is always different. And a lot of that just comes from a person's own personal stress. So I'm not saying that cigarettes were the cause of that, but just those little things. When I think of cigarettes, I associate all those little things with it. Overall, it's just a disgusting habit to me. Like I said, the people are not disgusting. The habit is. So I want to make that very clear, because I know people just be getting all kinds of offended by everything nowadays. But look, man, just face it. I know there's some of y'all who smoke cigarettes. Look, it's okay, man. You're probably great people, but you have a shitty habit. It's okay. Y'all just got to do better. Please do better, because look, you have friends and family that want you to be here for a long time. Like, lung cancer ain't no fun thing to deal with. Like, there ain't no reason to let people roll up chemicals and all kinds of nasty things and then force you to pay $25 for a box of these things, and then you smoke them until your lungs just start to collapse. It's not worth it. So get off the cigarettes, man. Just go smoke weed and relax. You'll be all right. Shit, man. We got 10 minutes left in the show. 2019 is almost over. 2020 is about to begin. There's going to be a lot of changes coming this year, man. I'm excited. I hope you were excited for all of your changes, your resolutions, and all the things you plan to do this upcoming year. Be patient. Take your time, even though time waits for no man. Make sure you put good vibes out into the universe and take what is yours. But work hard. Be humble. Treat people with respect. Build relationships. Do not just assume that you can do everything on your own. It's going to be a good year for a lot of us. Some of you are probably going to have a bad year just based on karma from past years where you've been acting like an idiot. Maybe I'm one of those people. But honestly, I do not feel that is the case for me this year, because we already have so many good things cracking off, especially when it comes to this show. I think 2020 is going to be the year for us. So I hope everybody stays safe tonight. Listen, man, make good decisions. If you choose to drink, please do not choose to drive. Uber, Lyft, your friends, listen, any of my friends, listen, I'm planning to drink Martinelli's tonight. So if any of my friends go out, if you feel like you need a ride, you know how to get a hold of me. You know my phone is on silent. You better call twice. I got my watch on. That thing will vibrate. You call twice, I know that it's probably an emergency. I'll do my best to come running. But if I don't answer, it's probably because I'm asleep. You know how I be getting down. But make other arrangements. Have backup plans. I don't want to see any of my friends on the news when I wake up in the morning. I don't want to see that nothing crazy happen to y'all. Especially if you're just making bad decisions. It's not worth it. So everybody be safe this New Year's, man. I hope you roll into 2020 feeling good and feeling confident. Man, it's been a good year. I'm happy that I could be here with you guys. The Meemko Jackson Show was lit in 2019. Expect even more fire from us coming in 2020, man. It's going to be a great year. So we're going to get to these last couple of songs, and then I'm going to let you guys have it, man. And then I'm going to be back on Thursday. This is the Meemko Jackson Show. We're live on Track Talk Radio Tuesdays and Thursday nights from 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Hey, tune in with us, man. We're going to be back on Thursday, man. It's all love. I love you guys. I'm going to see you later this week. Well, we cutting it kind of early, but that's the show, man. It's December 31st. Tomorrow begins a new year, a new decade, new challenges, new everything. So, hope you guys enjoy it, man. Stay safe, be responsible, like and subscribe, share this with all your friends. It's going to be lit. Hey, man, get you a robe like this. Boy, you're going to be looking as good as me one day, man. It's lit. Meemko Jackson Show. I'm your host, Meemko Jackson, and I'm out, man. Happy New Year.